Welcome to the final stage of Piaget's cognitive development theory, the formal operational stage. This stage typically begins around age 12 and continues into adulthood. During this time, individuals develop the ability to think abstractly, reason logically, and apply hypothetical thinking to solve complex problems. In the formal operational stage, children are now able to use logic to solve problems, analyze the world around them, and even begin planning for the future. It's not just about tangible objects or immediate experiences anymore. Their actions and decisions are based on logical thinking. This stage allows them to see the bigger picture, to reflect on more complex issues. One of the defining characteristics of the formal operational stage is the development of abstract thinking. Unlike in earlier stages, where thought is tied to tangible objects and experiences, adolescents and adults can now think about abstract concepts like justice, freedom, and ethics. They can discuss and reason about ideas that don't have a physical form, such as algebraic equations or philosophical dilemmas. This capacity for abstraction allows for more sophisticated and nuanced thought processes. In the formal operational stage, we see several hallmark abilities that define this advanced cognitive level. Let's break them down. Let's summarize these key characteristics of the formal operational stage. First is reflective thinking. This is when individuals start thinking harder before acting. For example, before making a major decision like choosing a career path or even what subjects to take in school, they weigh their options, consider the consequences, and reflect deeply on their choices. Another major advancement in this stage is hypothetical deductive reasoning. This refers to the ability to formulate hypotheses, consider potential outcomes, and systematically test these hypotheses to reach a conclusion. Adolescents can think through what-if scenarios and predict possible consequences of their actions or ideas. This type of reasoning is essential for solving complex problems, conducting scientific experiments, and engaging in critical thinking. Piaget demonstrated the development of hypothetical deductive reasoning using the pendulum task. In this task, participants are asked to figure out what factors affect the speed of a swinging pendulum. Adolescents in the formal operational stage systematically test different variables such as the length of the string, the weight of the pendulum, and the height from which it is released to determine the correct answer. This ability to isolate variables and test them one by one shows advanced logical thinking that is unique to this stage. At this stage, adolescents can think of multiple possible answers to a problem and systematically test their ideas. For instance, if they are trying to figure out how to improve their study habits, they might hypothesize different approaches, such as studying in groups or using flashcards, and then evaluate which method works best. Next one is creative thinking. This is where they start thinking outside the box. Imagine a student tasked with a science project. Rather than just following the usual procedures, they might come up with a unique way to present their findings, like creating an interactive model or using digital tools to enhance their work. In short, your imagination grows. You can come up with new ideas or think about things in unique ways. This helps you get creative in school projects or solving tricky problems. Lastly, critical thinking. It is all about judging situations based on facts and logic. For example, they might read an article about a social issue and critically evaluate the arguments presented, asking themselves, is this a valid point, or what evidence supports this claim? Also, you start asking more thoughtful questions. For example, is this really the best way to do this? You begin to understand that not everything is simple, and you can think more deeply about things. Continuing with the discussion of adolescent cognitive growth in the formal operational stage, let's dive into three key concepts: adolescent egocentrism, idealism, and increased argumentativeness. These behaviors reflect how adolescents think and act as they become more capable of abstract reasoning, problem solving, and considering multiple perspectives. 1. Adolescent egocentrism. In this stage, teenagers often think the world revolves around them. They become highly focused on how they are perceived by others, their appearance, their ideas, and their feelings. This is a common experience as they develop self-awareness. For example, a teenager might believe that everyone at a party is looking at them, analyzing what they're wearing or how they're acting. They might also become overly self-conscious, feeling like even minor mistakes will be noticed by everyone around them. This egocentrism leads to two common tendencies. First is imaginary audience. Teens feel like they are constantly being watched or judged, as if there's an invisible audience paying attention to their every move. And lastly is personal fable. They might believe that their experiences are unique, that no one else could possibly understand what they're going through. These tendencies are part of the adolescent's development of identity and self-concept but can sometimes cause emotional stress or lead to feeling misunderstood. 2. Idealism. As adolescents enter the formal operational stage, they begin to imagine ideal versions of their life, family, school, or even society. This idealism comes from their newfound ability to think abstractly and consider how things should be, rather than simply accepting how things are. For example, a teenager might envision a perfect world where there is no poverty, injustice, or pollution and feel frustrated or disappointed when they realize that society does not match up to this ideal. Adolescent idealism refers to the concept which explains how adolescents feel that they are entitled to offer their input in political, religious, and other institutions. This notion frequently leads to disagreement between youths and adults. At home or in school, this idealism may lead to conflict with parents, teachers, or authority figures, as teenagers begin to question why things aren't more perfect. This is often when they begin to develop their own political, social, or moral views, which can challenge the beliefs of adults around them. Imagine this scenario: a teenager might argue with their parents about why the family isn't doing more to help the environment or challenge a teacher on social issues discussed in class. 3. Increased argumentativeness. During adolescence, increased argumentativeness often emerges as teens begin to enjoy testing ideas and engaging in debates. This is because they are developing their critical thinking skills and becoming more independent in their reasoning. Adolescents also use arguments as a way to assert their growing autonomy and challenge authority. These arguments often come down to your child testing their new ideas, but also testing parental power. Teenagers are trying to take more control of their lives, be more assertive, and test the boundaries. Imagine this example: a teen might frequently engage in debates with their parents or teachers, questioning rules or decisions. This isn't just to be rebellious but is often an attempt to test their new reasoning abilities. Also, a teenager might argue with their parents about curfew, claiming that they are old enough to make their own decisions, or engage in heated classroom debates over controversial topics as they test out their ideas. In education, it allows students to engage with abstract subjects like mathematics, science, and philosophy. In everyday life, this level of thinking helps individuals solve complex problems, plan for the future, and consider moral and ethical implications of their actions. As we enter adulthood, formal operational thinking continues to evolve, supporting critical thinking and advanced reasoning skills. Now that we've covered all 4 stages of Piaget's cognitive development theory, let's discuss the practical applications of this theory in education and child development. Understanding these stages gives us insight into how to nurture children's cognitive abilities at each stage. For infants and toddlers in the sensorimotor stage, we need to focus on providing different sensory experiences. Babies explore the world through their senses and physical interactions. Introducing a variety of toys helps stimulate their senses, and toys that encourage movement help build their motor skills. We should also encourage physical activities like tummy time, crawling, and reaching for objects, which strengthen their understanding of the world around them. Children in the pre-operational stage need rich, interactive experiences. It's crucial to talk to the child and engage them in conversation, answering their questions with patience. By doing so, we support their growing ability to use symbols, language, and imagination. Also, while it's important to encourage imaginative and pretend play, we must ensure that they understand what is make-believe versus reality. Pretend play helps them explore different roles and scenarios, but gentle guidance is needed to differentiate fact from fiction. This is also the stage where we start teaching empathy, encouraging sharing, helping others, and setting good examples for moral behavior. In the concrete operational stage, children become better at reasoning, but their thinking is still tied to concrete experiences. As educators or parents, we can strengthen classroom lessons by incorporating hands-on activities that require logical thinking and problem-solving. We should also observe their ability to reason logically and ask questions that make them think critically and reflect on their answers. For example, you could ask, "Why do you think that happened?" or "What could be another way to solve this?" It's essential to respect their growing independence while still guiding them through complex tasks. Finally, during the formal operational stage, we must challenge students with higher-order thinking tasks. Ask them to analyze, evaluate, and create tasks that require abstract reasoning. Encourage them to engage in debates, write essays, or conduct independent research projects, which help develop reflective and critical thinking skills. At this stage, students need opportunities to explore hypothetical situations, make predictions, and solve problems in a systematic and organized way. Respect their growing need to think independently, while also guiding them toward sound reasoning and decision-making. As we conclude this lesson, Piaget's cognitive development theory gives us a roadmap for understanding how children think and grow intellectually. Each stage offers its unique strengths, and as educators, we can tailor our approach to match the needs of children at each developmental milestone. Remember, cognitive development is not just about acquiring knowledge, it's about fostering curiosity, critical thinking, and problem-solving skills that will serve them throughout their lives. Thank you for your attention and see you again on the next lessons.